Hi, I'm Josephine. This is my channel, The Versatile Housewife. Today's video is just kind of a conglomeration of things since I'm playing catch up from Task Tuesday, in which I did a task, but I didn't share it. I did a post. That was about it. I put up some shelves. As far as tasks go, I've been prioritizing my garden, and when I had my triple bunk, this is something that I've slowly kept up on. Last week I was like, oh, I finished it, yeah. I didn't finish it. My husband collected everything, was getting ready to assemble it, said, hey, we're actually missing 7 boards because he used them for something else. And I misunderstood that he used them, and so I thought, well, I'll take the screws out and I'll just sand what he used. No, there was some that he actually cut and totally used that he needed new cuts out of. So yeah, I got them sanded and stained. You'll see that. This is kind of like a day in the life video, but with it just being kind of a conglomeration of weeks and maybe butts in of me talking. So you could see so many of my plants are sprouting. This was some lemon balm a friend gave me. It's just a protein container. And I was like, oh no. And I keep being told anything like this is very much a weed. And so if you just keep watering, even the dead ones, then it'll grow back. And it is. I'm pretty sure this is a pumpkin vine, a sugar pumpkin. But I'm really bad at labeling stuff. Maybe next year I'll learn. So some of this garden is just at this rate. My seedling sprouts are getting too big to just keep in containers. So instead of having this all ripped open in time for them, I'm kind of doing like patches, and I will connect them at some point. And then I think I'm going to do broccoli along this side, since it likes to shade a little bit more than where my raised beds are. But it's stuff like this that I've been busy with. Got my third cup of coffee.
You like my grandma?
Yes.
Is it?
I need to spray this for fungus, and the little grapes here. I'm not really sure how grapes work, but they're not getting bigger. Now this grapevine is not growing as quickly, but it's so far doing a lot better, and it's got a little bit. It needs to be sprayed too. But look at these. Look at those. They're getting bigger. And this one also is getting the tendrils growing onto this. This one's doing very well. So I freed this one. It was kind of wrapped around, and maybe it'll grow here. I don't know.
Connor, what else do they eat? They eat one of Mommy's favorite animals.
So this is the rest of the boards and these small ones, and they still have to wait. This is what's frustrating, is even though it's not like a whole bunch, I need to wait a full 24 hours before I can do the seal coating, and yeah, just a waiting game now. Well, my children were very loud, and although I would ask them, do you mind being quiet so I can just fill this simple snippet, one would be quiet, another would get even louder, and then it would rotate. So my house is a little bit like a zoo right now, and you know what? Sometimes it's just easier to remove yourself from the situation. It's just what I'm doing before I get overstimulated. Now they all three found a window to look at me through and yell at me. But the last bit of this video is me working on the Star Trek quilt that I've been trying to get done, and honestly I'm excited because next month I should be able to get all of my batting and not only knock out the crazy quilt, but if I can keep up the pace that I've been with this quilt, I doubt I'll be able to. But I would like to maybe get 2 finished quilts next month. Probably not going to happen, especially with working on the aprons. A girl can hope, a girl can dream. Getting active footage of me sewing is hard. And with the kids, it takes 2 to 3 times as much time for me to work on my projects when I'm trying to set up like the tripod and camera to get a good angle, and also being mindful of like not just blocking the camera. There is some footage of me working on it, but then there's like a big gap and a lot of progress and change. So we'll see how it goes. I'll try and explain the gap and what I was able to accomplish, but a lot of seam ripping. One thing that this quilt is definitely teaching me, and projects in general, is to not let seam ripping stop me. But honestly, seam ripping and kids screaming spike my cortisol levels the same. Severe very agitated by it. But yeah, I hope you enjoy this last portion of the video, especially if this is something that you've really been wanting to see, as opposed to just the garden stuff. Pardon any chaos going on in the background, but this is just kind of me looking at the pattern, trying to figure out what I need to do, because I didn't offset things the way I was supposed to, so I did need to cut an extra piece of Galaxy fabric and put it off to the side so that the sizing will work out. So ironed it, made sure that it turned out to be a good rectangle. It wasn't even, moved everything over, attached it, and now these next sections are a bit more boring. It's a lot of pinning and stuff. So can I just rant for a moment? Now, I'm finding it a little frustrating that, and I'm referring to YouTube and content creation, but I thought I was maybe achieving some level of steady growth. I don't know what it was with my videos or the algorithm, but I feel absolutely shot in the foot recently, and it's frustrating because I can actually take a look at the impressions, and I put my hand out there trying to do shorts again. But I'll be honest, I understand the way the YouTube algorithm works for shorts. It's not the same as it is for long form. They just push it out to anyone, really. And when the first several interactions are just 100% multiple dislikes, I'll be honest, it's very frustrating. So that's kind of why I haven't really been posting shorts. If you do like those, you know, maybe let me know. Actually comment on them because it definitely hurts my esteem. I guess people like fries though. I mean, it's some decent ASMR quality with sizzling for the last little short that I did, but otherwise I really want to just focus on long form content. And you know what, if we're backtracking and it's just a couple people who will watch, I mean, shoot, one of you, okay, you know what, my husband, he's just watching while I go, I love you, you're a wonderful man, even if you mess with my YouTube analytics. But yeah, so as I was working on this Star Trek quilt, this is me hand stitching because I'm so bad with Y seams, and that's why I'm not really bothered with sharing this as a tutorial. My biggest advice for someone who wants to get into quilting is view me as an initial boss. If I can do it, you can do it, and look up tutorials from people on here who are far more talented than I, who actually have very comprehensive videos. And here is what we got last week when I was working on it. There's a lot of hand stitching. It's not perfectly lined up. I got the little space piece made so that it works. I ended up getting this attached too. I'm always thankful when I'm able to get something cut, but even more thankful when I get to sew it on, as well as those 3 pieces up there I got done. Happy. So this is where we're at so far. I know it's crazy, but yep, this is what I got to. It's not fully together over there. Yep. Well, if you made it to the end of the video, you are a real trooper, and your trophy is this spread. I'll snap it for you. I'm kidding. Anyway, despite all the dizzying crop fields and the fact that the audio is completely all over the place because I cannot just commit to filming in one area. In fact, I really have no clue how some of these YouTubers do it. I need to put that down because I'm gonna keep snapping it in the background. I have no idea how a lot of these people do it with kids around and trying to prioritize kids. My assumption is probably at night, but my husband wants my attention at night. But if you can sit through that, and you like the variety on this channel and the chaos, maybe consider subscribing. And if you don't like it, and you want me to know that, I mean, feel free to give it a thumbs down. I am so used to it because of the shorts. As I have said, I have been hardened. And that, I guess that is a character growth that I get. I'm gonna keep showing up despite the dislikes. To some extent, there's only so much that I can do if I want to just keep being consistent, and it's personal improvement. So I've seen all these videos about why people should start YouTube channels, and one of it is, even if you absolutely suck at it, it's just honestly personal growth. And I'm finding that to be the case. So I hope that you have a wonderful rest of your week, and if you would like to share in the comment section either personal growth things that you've learned recently or projects that maybe you need to start finishing, or how your garden's going, I'd love to hear it, any of it. I love chatting. Anytime someone leaves me a comment, it makes me very happy. But I hope that you have a wonderful rest of your week. Bye.